Hello and welcome to Volleyball Late, our live post-game show brought to you by Alumni Hall and a proud part of the I-80 Club. Tonight, we're breaking down Nebraska's 3-1 win over Utah as the Huskers move to 7-0. My name is Jeff Sheldon. Who are you,
And
sir?
I'm Blinken Arneal, coming to you live from the John Cook Arena.
Man, is it hard to work that in? That was the talk last weekend on Press Row. I was like, do we still call it the Devaney Center? Do we still call it John Cook Arena? Jeff, what are you going to call it? I'm like, I don't know. There's no AP style on this yet.
Yeah, waiting for Eric Olson to show up to tell us what to do, but I still call it the Bob Devaney Sports Center or Devaney Center. I think is really what I call it. So they got the signage up there and outside. So
the
I'm gonna wait till
I feel like makes it official. Like on the
Yeah.
exterior of the arena and up on the scoreboard, it's John Cook Arena now. So
wait till they put a statue up next week.
yeah, then it's for
Then
real.
it's
Then
official.
all the mentions of Bob Devaney just kind of go away. We're going to get to Nebraska and Utah, a fun match that I think showed that Nebraska is still pretty good, has some things they need to work on yet. We're going to get to that in just a minute. First, we want to thank our great friends at Alumni Hall, who's sponsoring all of our shows this fall. They're the ultimate Husker shopping destination. They've got two locations. One's downtown at 11th and P. They've got another one down at South Point Pavilions. That's at 27th and Pine Lake Road, where they have more Nebraska volleyball gear than any other competing merchandise retailer. They've got t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, stickers, things that can go on your water bottles. They've got like jerseys that look like football jerseys, but they're for volleyball. They've got the black shorts t-shirt from Champion. It's a great place to go for all of your Nebraska volleyball gear, including your youth gear. Lincoln, tonight I was in an elementary school carnival, and there were tons of kids walking around with Husker shirts on, a few Nebraska volleyball shirts I saw there. So if you got a little one in your life, check out their youth gear at Alumni Hall, and we're going to save you 15% off of your order in one of two ways. You can go in the store and tell them you're a Volleyball State listener, and that'll save you 15%. They're actually open extended hours on football game days, so you can go in a little bit later on Saturday, or a little bit earlier, I should say. Or if you're not near a physical location, you can shop online anytime at alumnihall.com and just use the promo code Volleyball State, all one word, no spaces. That will save you 15%. So Lincoln, I am setting our timer now. I'm putting the timer on. This is an official thing now. Nebraska moved to 7-0 by beating Utah 3-1. I actually guessed the score correctly when I put up our score background that the folks who are watching the YouTube video can see now. Nebraska 3, Utah 1. Huge night for Rebecca Alec. 13 kills, just one error on 18 swings. I have that bringing her up for the year to 471 on the young season.
Which I believe also
that blocks, so not a bad night for Rebecca Alec.
I think that ties her career high for kills as well too. That's what the note was we were talking about in the post-game press conference too. So yeah, just great. I mean, a lot of it was in the flow of the offense too, but she was lethal for overpasses. If she got anywhere near an overpass, it was going down to the floor.
Yeah, Nebraska has really kind of figured out what exactly you're supposed to do on overpasses. Because we were watching a lot of volleyball this week. That Texas Louisville match was on, and there's just been a lot of great volleyball on TV this week. And so many times I have seen overpasses come in, and it's sort of in a no man's land where the player doesn't know exactly what to do with it. Do they try to rifle it back to the floor? Do they try to play it? And so many times these players just kind of get nervous and tip the overpass back to the other team, which kind of negates why you ever got an overpass in the first place. It becomes transition. But yeah, Rebecca Alec, none of that nonsense. Hammer it back to the floor. Also looked really good hitting behind the setter on the slides, at least in the part of the match that I watch. And I admit I was not able to watch game one live. I'm going to go back and watch it later. And apparently that was the game to miss.
Yeah, let me tell you, I'll kind of fill you in there too, because Nebraska came out and they looked out of sync. Their offense wasn't hitting very well, and Utah was really taking advantage of. Nebraska's block was a little bit slow getting out there. Cameron Gibaldo really lit them up. She had 7 kills in that and finished the match with 11. So she really took care of business too. And Nebraska their offense was off, some bad hitting errors, service errors too, and just the energy was low. I feel like to start too. I don't know what that was from, but they settled in kind of towards the late part of the first set too. When it was when Ali Chet came in, even though she didn't touch the ball for the first 3 or 4 rotations, Nebraska had a little 3-0 scoring burst, and that kind of settled them down and got them back in the flow of things.
Utah also played a match earlier this week, and I can't remember if it was Tuesday or Wednesday, but they played a midweek match.
Tuesday they played Utah Valley. Yeah, they
Yeah.
played out at home. So this is
Mhm.
their second match, and they come back tomorrow and play at 1 o'clock. So quick
And
turnaround for them.
Utah always impresses me when I see them play Nebraska. I think this is the third time I've seen a Nebraska-Utah match. They play well here. They play well in Lincoln. They're really well coached. They always seem to have experienced players. They have, Cameron Gabadlo is a really good player, and they have at least one other pin hitter who I thought was really impressive. So you knew
Mhm.
coming into the match this was not going to be like a sleepy cakewalk for Nebraska. And game one kind of put everyone on notice that Nebraska is vulnerable. They can't show up and bring their B game and beat a decent team, especially one ranked in the top 25.
Yeah, I think it started with passing too, because Nebraska gave up 3 aces, and 2 of those aces were just letting the ball go, thinking that it was going to go long, and it wasn't even touch the line. It was well inside of the line. So it's just bad decision making. I think there was one that was shanked. So it really started with the passing,
Hmm.
passing for Nebraska too. And I mean, if you're passing bad, your offense is limited for the
Hmm.
options you have. So it just kind of it snowballed from there too. And Utah, I give credit to them. They really came out swinging hard and were aggressive.
Yeah, I do want to talk serve and pass here in a little bit because I think Nebraska started to swing that matchup a little bit more toward themselves
Yeah.
as the match went along. Especially Taylor Landfair, I thought had a really good night from the service line. Let's run through some more top line numbers from this match. Andy Jackson had a slow start to this one, but finished with 9 kills and hit 375. So hey, if you're in a 4-set match, if you're getting 22
Yeah.
kills from your middles, that's pretty darn good. Harper
Well,
Murray, not
I think
super. Oh, sorry. Go ahead
I
with
would
the
say
middle.
Andy Jackson at one point, she had 3 kills, 3 airs on like 9 swings too. So she finished
Mhm.
6 kills out of her last 7 swings or so.
Yeah, this would be the second match in a row that Andy Jackson kind of had a game one to forget and then came back and put together a really great back half of the match. Harper Murray had 9 kills, but took her 33 swings to get there. She hits below 100, got blocked a couple times, had some highlight reel kills, but just this is what I sort of expect from the outside hitter who has to take out the trash sometimes. 9 kills, 33 swings. Taylor Landfair, one of her better matches of the season, 8 kills. So, that doesn't exactly explode off the page in 4 sets, but some of those were really impressive. There were a few that were out of system that she was still able to
Mhm.
put away. And the big thing for Taylor Landfair is she was low error. Hit
One.
467 on the night with just one hitting error. Anytime you get a match out of Taylor Landfair where you only have one hitting error, and I think she had 2 aces as well, like
Mhm.
that's really good.
Yeah, and the thing was too is there was a couple times where it was obvious where the ball was going. It was going to Landfair out on the left pin too, and she still swung hard, found a seam, and put the ball down too. And that's what Nebraska needs from her. In
Mhm.
those cases, outside hitter's job is to put the ball away, even if the defense knows that you're getting it. And
Mhm.
she swung hard and heavy a couple times tonight, which really that's her forte.
And she played front row the entire match, right? They did not
Correct.
let Terea Sigler play in the front row, and
And
we didn't
well,
see Skylar Pierce tonight either.
correct. I mean, Pierce was playing more for the opposite too, and I think Nebraska had Sigler start the match serving. I think it was maybe just to save a sub, but she served into the net, and then Landfair served the rest of the match too. Like you said,
Mhm.
two. She did have 4 service errors too, but I thought she was a lot more effective. I mean, she served 27 times for the match
Yeah,
too, which is
that has to be a
it's
career high, at
almost
least at Nebraska.
well, and it's almost twice the next highest on Nebraska was Andy Jackson with 14. So she was serving twice as much as everyone. You can live with those 4 service errors when you're going
Yeah.
back 27 times.
And she was getting Utah out of system quite a bit in the parts of the match that I was able to see
Yeah.
live. Even when she wasn't landing aces, they were having a hard time passing her.
Yeah.
I think she was serving
Well,
left back most of the time.
yeah, and I don't know if we're talking about serving now too, but
Sure.
that was the key in the second set too. I mean, Andy Jackson went back. It was 10-5. She had a 7-0 serving run. I don't know if Utah was in system for any of her serves, and then Taylor Landfair closed out the set with a 7-0 service run too.
Yeah.
And again, putting pressure on getting. I mean, there was no aces during that, but forcing Utah to
Mhm.
really kind of scramble and play out of system. And Nebraska had a couple blocks during that, so and other hitting errors, which
Yeah.
were, I think, a direct tie to the serving.
Landfair and Jackson are not players who I don't think served last year. They're not
No.
sort of regular servers until this year. Landfair serves in rotation 2, which is when Terea Sigler was serving to start the match. Andy Jackson serves in rotation 6, and Nebraska must have felt so strongly about her serving. They started game 4 in rotation 6. Andy
Mhm.
Jackson was the first server back there. And you give up a little bit defensively when you let her serve back there, because she has to play left back defense for as long as she keeps the serve. And I think both of Utah's first 2 kills of game 4 were hit right at Andy Jackson, where I would maybe expect a back row defender or an outside hitter to make those digs. But if she's putting service pressure on, then they're going to live with it.
Yeah. That's what you want them to do. And I thought both of them were really aggressive with their serves, and I think that made a difference. And that's also too what Nebraska did in the second set is they changed what rotation that they started in. They started in a rotation that put Rebecca Alec in the front row and matched her up against Gibaldo, and really limit. She didn't have a kill in the second set at all too, and I think that's because of the pressure that Alec was getting on her.
A couple more numbers I want to get through. First of all, Nebraska hit 303 as a team for the match. Skewed a little bit, I think, by the
Yes.
outrageous number that they had in game 2. They hit 750 in game 2 with 15 kills and no errors on 20 swings. Just 133 in game 1, 212 in game 3, and 269 in game 4. But hey, you add it all up, and it's another match where Nebraska hits over 300, which is the 5th time in 7 matches this year that the Huskers have broken that 300 mark. So I don't know, does that feel a little fool's gold to you because most of it came in one set?
Yeah, but I think Nebraska's offense was much better, especially after that first set too. The bad offense was limited to very short stretches. There was a stretch where I think Utah scored 6 points in a row in the third set, where there were 3 hitting errors during that. But so I think overall I think was a decent night. Not something you need to question your offense on.
Yeah. Bergen Riley with 32 assists tonight, but the eye-opening number to me is she had 18 digs.
Yes.
And we know that Bergen Riley is a very good back row defender, very good first setter, especially playing in the back row. 32 assists, on a night you hit 304 sets, I would expect those assist numbers to be up, between like 45 and 50.
Yeah.
But Nebraska had a lot of overpasses, as we talked about. And, the offense did enough that it needed to do. We can talk about defense here in a second.
Yeah, you look at the offense. Bergen finished with 32. Nebraska had 10 other assists from non-setters, and they had 6 unassisted kills as well too, which typically are coming on those overpasses. So a lot of offense that didn't run through Bergen Riley, which I think credit to the rest of the team for stepping up and covering that, and also for the offense for putting away those overpasses. So, yes. The one thing that I wanted to highlight too, we talk about Nebraska's offense hitting percent. The other thing is Utah. They were negative for 2 of the 4 sets too. They hit 278 in that first set too, but the other 3 sets were negative 080, 050, and negative 077. So the defense really picked up, and the block I think got a lot more involved. They finished with 12 blocks for the match.
Yeah, sorry, I dropped out there for a second. I was trying to bring up another tab, and Lord knows I have so many tabs open right now. I muted myself. A little more context for that Utah number. Utah hits 063, like you mentioned, Lincoln. It's the 2nd lowest mark of the season by a Nebraska opponent. It's the 5th time in 7 matches this year that Nebraska has held their opponent to under 100. And as you might expect, it's a season low for Utah, but it's a season low by 170 points. Their previous season low is they hit 236 in that loss to Texas A&M last week. So a really good job by Nebraska defensively on a night where they didn't have like a ton of blocks. Well, I think Nebraska, it piled up near the end. They had 12. Yeah. So that is 3%.
Rebecca Alec had 7 by herself too. So, and then Andy Jackson had the other 5. So those middles were in every single block.
Yeah. So let's talk about a couple things. We sort of talked about the slow start in game 1. Maybe we've covered that already, but you can win a match, you can perform well when you don't lose or when you don't win the serve and pass battle, but you kind of have to be like Texas, right? With outstanding pin hitters who can take an average first contact and an average second contact and turn it, into a point. I was actually really surprised to see when I looked at Texas's passing numbers today, they're getting outpassed by 10 points by their opponents on average in good pass percentage. And yet their pin hitters are so good, it almost doesn't matter. Like Nebraska does not have pin hitters to that level, and they try to run so much of their offense through the middle. They need good passing to be able to run the offense the way that they want. And if they're struggling like they were in game one, it can kind of look like it looked in game one against Utah.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, that's a result of Harper Murray. I think that's her hitting percentage is a lot of that bad passing that popped up at times too for Nebraska. But I think, yeah, if you can get this kind of, I mean, bad passing aside too, if Nebraska can get this from Taylor Landfair, where she scored 10 points, or actually 11 points over the 4 sets too, you get 3, 4 points from her. That's the kind of production you need to compensate for other areas that were short.
I've got my eye out too on the I-80 Club Discord. For those of you who are watching us live tonight, you can either put your comments in the YouTube chat or in the Volleyball State channel of the I-80 Club Discord chat. So we'll be getting to those as you put them in the 7 minutes that we've got left. Hey, Lincoln, Nebraska made another libero switch tonight, just like they did against Kentucky, where Lainey Choboy started the match. They didn't wait till the intermission, I believe, this time tonight. Didn't they get to Olivia Malk a little bit sooner, or did they do it in game 3?
I think they did it in game 3. Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, it was between 2 and 3. They did it again too, and I think that again, Olivia is just a little bit more steady in serve receive. I mean, Trollboy's still out there as a defense specialist, diving, making those hustle plays that she's
Yeah.
known for. But Nebraska just again, which is weird that Nebraska felt the need to change after hitting 750.
After hitting 750 in game 2.
But I think, I mean, Danny Busman Kelly said that it was not a preordained change, but it was just kind of, again, they wanted a little more steadiness in that serve receive, and that's what Olivia provides.
Yeah. I mean, if you could just take them both, their strengths, and like smash them together like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, you would have one heck of a libero. Because I even, I remarked on our show account on Twitter when I was watching in game 3, a couple balls got down, like cross court kills that Utah was able to put away, that I'm like, I think Lainey Choboy would have found a way to get that off the floor. So like Malk's an exceptional passer. Maybe doesn't give you quite the court coverage that Choboy gives you defensively, but she's got her strengths as well. So something to keep an eye on. For the rest of the year. Is this just going to be musical libero?
Yeah, and they did it with Lexi Rodriguez was in the house too. They showed her up on the video board a couple times too, and got warm reception as well. So doing it in front of the former libero for Nebraska,
back from the World Championships in Thailand. We talked about Taylor Landfair already, just serving really strong in rotation too. Really gives her another argument for being a starter and a strong member of this team. Let's go back to Rebecca Alec, if you don't mind. 471 now on the season. How have you kind of seen her grow offensively from last year even?
I think her best thing, the biggest jump I've seen from her is she's able to do a lot more with the ball if it's not a perfect set, whether she's throwing it or pushing it. I think like she would get in trouble a lot last year too by trying to do too much, whether too sharp of angle and to go out of bounds, or if she push it long. I think she's really found a way to terminate non-perfect sets too, which Nebraska's going to have a lot more of if you're force feeding the middles. It's getting that. So I think she'd be able to do. She's been a lot more terminal, a lot more smart attacks with what she's given.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think even her athleticism is up a notch. Like she can get up really high. She's moving laterally quicker, I think, than what I remember seeing, which is really important if she's going to run slides in a rotation out there as well. I think maybe it's only one rotation that she gets to be front row with Berg and Riley, so she can run that slide. But it used to be she was the in front of the setter attacker, Jackson was the behind the setter attacker, and now they can kind of both do a little bit of each. And I thought I saw some really impressive sets from Riley tonight. When she was pulled back, to the 10-foot line, she's still firing it almost straight forward for Alec, who is already up above the net. It's a really hard play to stop when they connect on it.
Yeah, because she doesn't need to do much with that because the ball's already coming forward. She needs just to tap it down, give a little more downward trajectory, and the defense doesn't have the right timing to line up and dig that.
And we've talked about serving as well. I'll be interested to see, if the metrics come up tomorrow, what Utah's pass percentage was. But just as the match went on, Utah was not in system very much. And when you're not in system against Nebraska, unless you've got like Brooklyn Delay over there wailing on out of system balls, it's really hard to get balls down on them because their back row defense is so good, and it starts transition chances.
Yeah, they tried a number of outside hitters as well too. I think there was at least 4 that Utah tried, and they all had moments where they were great, and then moments where it's like, what are you doing? There's
Mhm.
not much work, and so they tried to find the right recipe and never quite landed on it for a long stretch.
Overall, would you say a match like this is good for Nebraska Lincoln to kind of show, like, hey, there are vulnerabilities on this team, and I know there's a lot of praise that gets heaped on them, especially locally, and they're a Final Four favorite for sure considered
Mhm.
right now. But it's like, hey, nobody can count their chickens before they're hatched in this season, because you go out and you lay a stinker, and all of a sudden you're in real trouble.
Yeah, I think especially that slow start really serves as a wake up call that you can't just come out and walk through and have a good team. I mean, Utah's ranked 22, and they
Yeah.
were the better team in that first set. So it shows them that you need to have that intentionality from the first serve. Don't put that first serve into the net, and really kind of bring the energy and bring the
Mhm.
aggressiveness play.
Well, and in our season preview shows too, I think, we both might have picked either BYU or Kansas to win the Big 12, but Utah was also right there. So we expect Utah to be, a top 3 team in the Big 12. We know they're going to
Mhm.
make the NCAA tournament. They've got really good players, and Nebraska was just a step better than them tonight. We kind of expect Nebraska to also be a step better than Grand Canyon, who they're going to play on Saturday. Grand
Mhm.
Canyon held
They went
off Rice, or no, I'm
no
sorry,
Drake.
Drake.
Drake
Excuse
Bulldog.
me.
They went 5 with Drake. So
Right,
uh we'll see.
but pulled that out in 5 today. Nebraska has won the only other previous meeting against Grand Canyon. They played here in 2015. Nebraska won with a 3-0 sweep. It was a
Yeah.
really good Kelsey Fiend match, if everyone remembers that name. Kelsey Fiend had like 14 kills
Yeah.
in that
And
match.
there's a couple local Nebraska girls that play for Grand Canyon. I think is that Aspen West, is that who it is? Or then the younger Heaney girl from
Okay,
Elkhorn North.
I'm prepared to take your word for it. Yeah.
There's Grace and there's Shay. I forget what one of them's at Grand Canyon, one of them's at Purdue.
I think Grace is at Purdue, and
Yeah,
so the
Shay.
other Ms. Shea would be at Grand Canyon, but that match is
She
at
didn't.
6:30 tomorrow. Is that correct?
I
I
think
believe that's correct.
6 p.m. 6
6
p.m.
p.m. tomorrow. We will not have a volleyball late tomorrow. We're going to save that wrap up for our regular volleyball state show, which will be Sunday night at 7 p.m. live for Patreon subscribers. You get to have live access to the shows, give us comments, watch the show live as just one of your many subscriber benefits. If you are a paying subscriber to Volleyball State, you can do that for just $5 a month at patreon.com/i80 club. Tell your friends, send them the link. Let's grow this community even more. We just had a Volleyball State week that was newsletter that went out today to subscribers that Lincoln put together, kind of recapping the amazing week we've already seen in college volleyball. And we'll send you out another one next week as well, plus
Yeah.
some bonus content when we get around to it. So thank you
Well,
so much for our subscribers for supporting this community.
and we'll be back on Tuesday, Nebraska Creighton on Tuesday night. So
That's
we
right. And so just a sneak peek at Sunday's show, we had a nice conversation with Creighton coach Brian Rosen. Let's take a look at this right now. Creighton beats Louisville game 1, 25-19 in
ooh,
Omaha, and leads game 2, 19-17. So you can see a Creighton team that's coming off a huge home win. Creighton's got like a 34-match home winning streak
yeah.
right now, and Nebraska plays them at the CHI Health Center on Tuesday night. We will come back with another post-game show, volleyball late live Tuesday night. Lincoln will be live in Omaha. I'll be back here in Lincoln after Nebraska plays Creighton, and Volleyball State is coming up again at 7 p.m. on Sunday, with the free show going out in your feeds on Tuesday. Lincoln, you have anything else you want to add?
No.
All
Thanks
right.
for watching. Go to FS1. Watch that Creighton Louisville match. So thanks for watching us. But we'll be back on Sunday. And thank you for living in the Volleyball State.
Have a good night, everyone.